The NFL had a draft shock that nobody is talking about. A quarterback went first overall, and somehow the league has already pushed him to the side. His name is Cam Ward, and his story is louder than most headlines, yet it's treated like background noise. Think about it. A player who had 0 stars in high school, no buzz, and almost no path to the NFL is now the top pick in the draft. That climb is unreal. It's the kind of story
What do you like to listen to in your pregame routine?
Well, it's a lot of stuff. A lot of time I actually like to listen to nothing. I like to just sit there in silence and just think, honestly. So I like the silence.
With the headphones on in silence?
Mm-hmm. In the silence.
you expect to see everywhere, but it's not. The silence around him feels too strange to ignore. This isn't about his talent being in question. Ward is a fighter with a skill set that pops on the field. He's done everything right, kept his image clean, and carried himself like a pro. But because he doesn't bring drama, his name doesn't trend. The media would rather chase controversy than highlight a quiet success. And that's where the real twist, Island Cam Ward might be the most overlooked #1 pick in years, not because he lacks excitement, but because his rise doesn't fit the script that drives clicks. His story proves how the NFL chooses who to market and who to leave behind. That silence is what makes his journey even more powerful, and to see how wild it really is, you have to go back to where it all started. Big stories, bigger twists. Subscribe to Red Zone Reports now and stay ahead of the game. Cam Ward's road to the draft didn't just start slow, it started with nothing. No stars next to his name in high school, no real offers, no reason for recruiters to think he could ever stand under NFL lights. He was invisible in a system that usually forgets kids like him. But Ward refused to stay in the shadows. He went to Incarnate Word, a small FCS program that most fans couldn't find on a map. There he built a name play by play, earning the chance to move to Washington State, where the spotlight finally got a little brighter. From there, he made another jump to Miami, proving at every stop that the doubts were wrong. Draft experts once graded him as a mid-round pick at best. Some said he'd be lucky to hold a clipboard in the league. Instead, he flipped the script in one night and walked across that stage as the first overall pick. That leap wasn't supposed to happen, but he forced it to happen. And that's where the story gets even crazier. Because once Ward put on that draft hat, he didn't step into comfort. He stepped into chaos, an NFL team that expected him to survive with little around him. 2 games in, and Cam Ward is already showing why his story can't stay quiet. He's not just a rookie taking safe throws, he's launching passes that only the bold even try. His stat line isn't spotless, but it's telling. Completions that move the chains, nearly 300 yards, and not a single interception. That's rare control for someone this new. The play that stands out came on his first touchdown. He rolled left, threw across his body exactly what every coach warns against, and still dropped it in perfectly. That's not luck. That's a quarterback who believes in his arm and has the skill to back it up. It's the kind of throw that turns heads, even from veterans. Ward plays with an edge you can see. He doesn't look rattled. He doesn't back off. He treats every snap like it's his moment to swing, even when the odds are stacked. For a rookie, that's more than confidence. It's a signal of what he could become. But confidence can only carry you so far. Behind him is an offensive line that's breaking down, and that's where his fight is about to get tested harder than ever. The numbers don't lie. Cam Ward has already been sacked 11 times in just 2 games, the most for any quarterback starting a career in the last 75 years. Every snap feels like survival, and no rookie should be asked to carry that kind of weight this early. It isn't just about hits piling up. An offense that struggles to block limits what a quarterback can do. Ward is forced to escape, improvise, and create plays on the run. Sometimes it works. Other times it ends with him on the turf, staring at a defense that broke through untouched. What makes it wild is that he still finds ways to move the ball. Even when the pocket collapses, he scrambles, he launches, he refuses to fold. That stubborn fight is what keeps his team alive, but it also raises a question. How long can one player take that kind of punishment? And yet, in the middle of that chaos, Ward shows the kind of leadership most veterans need years to build. That's the part of his story the league keeps missing. Even with the hits and the pressure, Cam Ward has never looked like a rookie lost in the moment. Teammates say he's the first one in and the last one out. He runs film sessions on his own, sets the standard in the locker room, and shows a calm edge on game day that players rally around. That attitude matters when your team is struggling. Instead of breaking down, Ward takes control. He talks with linemen after drives, he pushes receivers to keep routes alive, and he finds ways to turn broken plays into second chances. That mindset is how leaders are built. The chemistry is already showing with his young targets, especially Elio Manor from Stanford. Ward trusts him in tight spots, throwing contested balls that only a fearless quarterback would risk. Plays like those show that he isn't just putting up numbers, he's building real connections that can grow into a dangerous offense. It's rare to see a rookie command that much respect this early, and yet, the cameras still point elsewhere, choosing to highlight drama instead of discipline. That decision says more about the media than it does about Ward. Turn on the TV and you'll notice the same pattern. The names that get the spotlight are the ones tied to drama, not discipline. Shedeur Sanders, for example, has cameras on him all the time. Cam Ward, the first overall pick, barely gets mentioned. It's not because Ward's story is weak. In fact, his rise from a no-star recruit to the top of the draft is as good as it gets, but it doesn't fit the model that drives clicks. The media looks for conflict, family headlines, and noise. Ward's clean image doesn't give them that. So the result is a strange silence. A quarterback doing everything right gets less coverage than players surrounded by controversy. That's the cost of staying focused in today's NFL. And that silence is what sets up the next twist, because instead of talking about Ward's climb, the league tried to create a fake rivalry that never existed. The easiest way for the media to sell a story is to turn two players into rivals. That's what happened with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. From the moment Ward was drafted, the headlines pushed a comparison that never needed to exist. On paper, the setup looked perfect. Ward went number one, Shedeur was the bigger name with the bigger spotlight. Fans were told to choose sides, as if the two quarterbacks were fighting for the same stage. But the truth doesn't match the headline. Ward and Sanders aren't enemies. They've trained with the same quarterback coach for years, built respect for each other, and even call themselves friends. When asked about Shedeur, Ward never played into the rivalry talk. He pushed back, saying that's his guy, not his opponent. Both quarterbacks carry the same qualities: confidence, work ethic, and the ability to lead. The difference is simple. Shedeur welcomes the limelight while Ward stays quiet. But that doesn't make one better or worse. It just makes them different personalities in the same league. The media never shows that part. Instead, it frames the story as a clash, because division sells more than unity. Ward and Sanders know it, but they keep their bond real while the cameras try to twist it. That's the irony. The rivalry that headlines keep shouting about doesn't exist. What does exist are two young quarterbacks chasing success in their own way. And for Ward, that focus is already shaping the kind of story that should define his career. Cam Ward isn't just another rookie quarterback. He's already making throws that land in the record books. One touchdown pass traveled over 30 yards across the field on the run, the longest play of its kind in nearly a decade. Those are the kinds of numbers that should be on every highlight show. But Ward's story goes deeper than stats. It's about beating odds that never leaned his way. From a no-star recruit to a first overall pick, every step in his journey proves how far hard work and belief can take a player. That's the kind of path young athletes and fans connect with most. Comparisons to names like Tavon Austin and Braxton Miller capture what makes him so exciting. He brings that same electricity, the type of player who can change a game with one snap. Every time he touches the ball, there's a chance something wild will happen. And yet, the national focus stays elsewhere. Instead of building up Ward's rise, the media keeps running back to safer clicks, louder names, and off-field drama. That gap between what's real and what's covered says everything about how stories are told in today's NFL. Ward doesn't need the noise to prove his worth. He's already showing it on the field with every fearless throw, every broken tackle, and every drive where he refuses to give in. His game speaks louder than any headline could. That's why his story matters now. Cam Ward isn't just the forgotten number one pick. He's the reminder that talent and grit still win in football, even when the cameras look the other way. Blessings to all my Red Zone Report subscribers family. Your support means everything. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and I catch you in the next one.